Hello and welcome to race number 3 of 4 here in the 4 races of Hartlepool. Today looks to be an especially great race for many of the competitors, considering the fact that the first 2 races we've had so far here in the 4 races have been dominated by nobody but the Roush guys and girls. For that matter, only one girl within the Roush stable. Anyway, Denholm Renholm is your pole sitter, and he's lining up next to his Pontiac buddy, Matthew McMurray, who, by the way, are not teammates if you didn't follow the 2002 season so far, as the green flag waves, and we're underway, and Denholm Renholm leads the field into turn number 1, and he's about to lead him into turn number 2. So far in these 4 races, we've seen drivers that have stayed up front actually go on and take the race win. And it's mainly if you've started on pole. But whatever the case is, the front runners look to be the ones that are going to be the one that are going to dominate the field. We have completed lap 1. We've now entered lap number 2. The race winner from Bullitt a week ago in the Craftsman Car Series, that is Richard Johnson. Richard came into this race running the same identical setup he ran on his Jasper engines and transmissions Ford over in the CCS. He's applied it to this Budweiser car you're seeing right here, right now. And it looks today that he might be the one that can actually go on and win the race. They're still running single file. Take a look at the Roush drivers in the field. The highest running one right now is Pichu London. And once again, my sincere congratulations goes out to Pichu and Ralph Mason for becoming the newest members of the HTFRA, joining myself, Bob Fergus, and David Rochester. And according to a scorecard, David is running 24th in car number 24. And right behind Pichu is his teammate Madison Denhard. There she is right here. It's amazing how all of the Roush drivers have at least led something in some type of category. In wins, it's Pichu London and Kyle Sinoski. In the points, it's Eric Burton. And within the female drivers in the field, it's Madison Denhard, who currently leads Monica Carroll by 25 points. Currently, Maddie in the point standings is tied with, as I take a look at the points chart, Danny Wells, who also has 35, who also has a 25-point advantage in the points over Diego Ospina, who is tied with Monica Carroll with 10. There is Ralph Mason. He is currently 3rd in the standings. And he's 2 points shy of taking 2nd place, or tying 2nd place, with Randy Carpenter. There we see Randy. A few of the international drivers that are in the field. He's running ahead of Callum. That is Callum Wales. And he's behind Madison Denhard, who is now going to try and pass her teammate, Pichu London. And I'd like to announce that please forgive me for the fumbling of my words and my sentences. It's been a long time since I have commented on a race within the 4 races. So I will do my best to commentate. I have just recovered from being sick. So that could be another reason why I'm struggling a little bit. But enough of that. There's the hometown man, Sean Galligan. In front of him is Matt Wells. Matt's brother Danny is in the 20. And like I said before, Danny is tied with Madison Denhard. But Sean Galligan looked as if in coming to this race he lined up next to his teammate Seth Cole, and Sean has now fell back in the field. Seth right now, according to our scoring ticker, as of lap 8 was being scored in 12th. So we could safely say now that he's safely inside the top 12. They kind of left his teammate Sean Galligan hanging. But so far in the race, Denholm-Renholm is leading the field. Matthew McMurray looking to turn on interstate power and power his way towards the front. Matthew only has one HTFRA win. That came in the Sebring Duels. We are not returning to Sebring for Season 2 in Winter Heat. We will also not be running Sebring in the Lower Tire Rug Doctor Series when that launches. Come with the signups in November of Thanksgiving weekend, as it is already November. So far, Denholm-Renholm has pulled a Jeff Burton and has led every lap. Or should I say pulled just about any driver that has led every lap. I mean, the last NASCAR driver to lead every lap was Jeff Burton. I believe Cale Yarbrough is another big-name NASCAR driver that has led every lap. I can't remember which race, though, but he is known for being one of only a handful of NASCAR drivers to lead every lap in a Sprint Cup Series race. Here comes Matthew McMurray. He's still looking to close that gap on Denholm-Renholm, but is it going to be enough? But it's still the early stages of the race, and we are closing in on halfway. Here comes Trey Normile, bringing along the CCS race winner here at this track, Richard Johnson, and he's taking along a few buddies himself, Danny Wells and Jacob Bell. Here comes Matthew McMurray closing in on the leader. This race so far has been caution-free, like race number 2. So far, not much action going on. It's mostly been a single file race so far, but there have been a few changes for positions. Jacob Bell still trying to close in the gap on the number 8 of Richard Johnson. Richard's been falling back. Here comes Luke Martin and Danny Wells. Evan Earnhardt, you can even add him to the mix. And the DEI drivers of Aaron Mason and Michael Skinner. Here's Aaron Mason. He goes for the pass on Evan Earnhardt. Mason and Skinner are trying to catch up to number 8 of Richard Johnson and help him out towards the front. Sean Galligan. He's now passing a handful of drivers. And now he's looking to close in on David Burton, as now his main goal is to try and close in on his teammate Seth Cole, who has been slowly and steadily closing his way in to the top 5. As you can see, he backed off a little bit. That's given the advantage to Kamui Perez, who in turn is trying to pass Seth Cole. So we go back up front towards the field. Seth Cole currently leads the Dodges running in the field. Jacob Bell is about to get passed by Richard Johnson. Richard's main goal is to catch up to Trey Normile. And it's safe to say that Trey Normile has closed in, or is about to close in on Matthew McMurray. Matthew just seems to get close enough to Denholm Renholm, but then backs off. Matthew seems to be faster on the straightaways, but slower in the corners. As at lap 15, the interval is 0.17 hundredths of a second, and you can add one more hundredths of a second to that interval because Matthew has slowly backed off from Renholm. Under the tunnel they go. The Stowe racing hard. It looks like Trey Normile, he's even backed off a little bit. But what an interesting race this race has been so far, as it should now be safe to say that Roush domination has come to an end. It's now up to the two Pontiac drivers. Which one is going to choke and which one's going to win? I see Trey Normile being a contender as well, but he's been one of those on and off drivers so far in the top three that seems to get close enough to Matthew, but then backs off. Matthew's looking to become the first international driver to win in the 4 races of Hartlepool. So far, the 4 races have been dominated by American drivers, Kyle Sinoski and Pichu London, an HTFRA member. Here comes Matthew. Denholm Renholm still leading the field. I mean, it's do or die time right now. We're already past halfway, and we're closing in on lap number 23, the final lap. And there's Richard Johnson. Once again, he's still happy with the setup, but disappointed that he's not running like he should be running. He's wishing that the race was much more competitive. Now he's going to steal third place from Trey Normile. Now he has his eyes set on Matthew McMurray and Denholm Renholm. And now he has to defend third place from Trey Normile and a closing in Luke Martin. Side by side right now for third place. Is Richard going to get the position? Yes, he does. This race has been going down quick. Matthew McMurray also close. Is he going to catch up to Denholm? Or is Richard Johnson going to catch up? We only have 4 laps to go. Here comes Richard Johnson in the Budweiser car. Is he going to try and pass Matthew? Here comes Luke Martin, though. He's going to try and steal third place away from Richard. Matthew McMurray, oh so close. Is it going to be enough? He cannot back down on those corners. I know he has to take it easy, but it's do or die time. 3 laps to go. Richard tries to high side. It does not work. Once again, Matthew checked up a little bit. You cannot do that when you're gaining position. Matthew McMurray, if he finishes second, he is going to look back and say, I should have challenged harder for that matter, for that first place position. He's sitting in the penultimate position right now. 2 laps to go this time by. Richard Johnson looks like his luck just ran out. Matthew McMurray down to the inside. Matthew side by side, and he leads lap number 21. He takes the lead away from Denholm Renholm, and the caution is out. And it's all for the hometown man, Sean Galligan. This is the race back to the finish line. The agony of defeat for Galligan. His home race has been shattered. It's now time for him to try in race number 4. Matthew McMurray has ended Roush's dominating performance. He's going to win here at Bullitt. As we have tucked in the white flag, the safety car is out. Matthew McMurray just has to bring the number 18 ride around one more time. And there's a handful of drivers ahead that were also involved. Oh, Peter London. I think these drivers were involved as well. Connor Breton, Eric Burton, Richard Earnhardt. Oh, David Rochester. Ralph Mason, an HTFRA member as well. Brandon Bain, I think he was involved. We'll have to see the full footage when that comes up. But as we work our way back to the front under the Goodyear Bridge for the final time, Matthew McMurray officially now, as he backs down the gears ever so smoothly, is going to win here at Bullitt. And the race is complete. It is official. But the agony of defeat for so many drivers, Pichu London, David Rochester, Ralph Mason, Sean Galligan, the hometown man. Sean's teammate Seth Cole came in 11th. So that's good news for his teammate, but that's bad news for him. It should help Seth Cole in the points with his 11th place finish, but most certainly this is going to hurt Sean Galligan. We haven't even talked about Sean much of the 4 races, but what bad news for him. Sean Galligan. Ay, ay, ay. Let's take a look and see how all of this unfolded. Now, some are going to view this as a racing incident. Others are going to view it as a racing incident, but it's still going to turn some heads angry. Watch what happens. Sean Galligan gets loose going into turn number 4. This forces Madison Denhart to turn Sean Galligan on accident, as she has little reaction time to try and save her car from turning into the left rear fender of Galligan's Coors Light Dodge. He tries saving it, and he does successfully, but isn't able to slow down the car in time and hits the wall, and therefore in turn hits Maddie's teammate Pichu London. And further up, Ralph Mason gets collected in the mess. We're going to watch it from Pichu's perspective and see how the others get through it. Callum gets through it okay. Eric Burton, your points leader, gets involved. David Rochester and Diego Ospina get involved as well, as Diego clips the rear bumper of Rochester's ride. And there you see the safety car being deployed, but for an incident like that, it's just turned some grapes sour, and it's turned others into a happily ever after dream. As it's safe to say now that Roush's dominating performance has come to an end, but is it truly the end in the points, as your points leader Eric Burton has been involved? And here is your unofficial results. And like I said before, it's turned some heads happy, some heads angry. Matthew McMurray and Denholm Redholm lead Pontiac to a 1-2 finish. Luke